On today's video, we're driving 400 miles from Liverpool to Glasgow and back, once in a Tesla and once in a Volvo, a non-Tesla. We'll be driving up and back on the famous M6 and M74, where one gets access to Tesla's famous Supercharger network and the other has to rely on the UK's public chargers. So, which is faster, cheaper and easier to live with? On this trip, things don't always go to plan, and the results may surprise you. This is the real-world EV road trip test, Tesla versus non-Tesla, head-to-head, on Ben Goes Electric. Before we start, let's have a look at the cars we'll be doing this trip in and then talk a little bit more about how this video is going to work. In the Tesla corner is of course my Tesla Model 3. This is the long-range all-wheel drive version with a WLTP range of 421. It's got a 75 kilowatt-hour usable battery capacity with a max charging speed of 250 kilowatts DC with 491 horsepower and all-wheel drive. In the non-Tesla corner, we have a 2023 Volvo XC40 Recharge twin motor edition with up to 355 miles from its 79 kilowatt-hour usable battery capacity, with a max charging speed of 205 kilowatts DC and 402 horsepower, and again with all-wheel drive. So both of these cars are quite similar under the hood with their all-wheel drive and similar battery capacity, but one is of course a saloon car and one is an SUV. Both cars were on 20% and then charge up to 100% at home on AC power overnight, and for this journey we will be relying on the inbuilt navigation system for charging planning instead of using third-party softwares like iBetter Route Planner. Every 50 miles we will have a review of the battery percentage and the efficiency that the car is doing, and of course we'll have a look at when we need to stop and charge. So with that, let's get in the Tesla and plan the route. So we are now in the Tesla, so let's see how easy it is to get the route going and get on our way. So in the Tesla, we're simply just going to go to navigate and then type in the Tesla Centre in Glasgow. There we go, enter that in. And it'll take our current percentage and it'll work out. So there you go. So looks like we're going to arrive there without a stop with 20%. We've currently got 100% in the battery, indicating 341 miles. So let's see how truthful that is, and let's get on the way in the Tesla. So as you saw, the Tesla is very simple to navigate. You just simply put it in the maps and tell you if you need to charge, where for, and for how long. So how does that compare in a non-Tesla, this Volvo XC40? So the Volvo system, powered by Android, simple layout. So obviously you've got Apple CarPlay there and you've got Google Maps. So we're going to use the base car system, Google Maps. I might connect Waze later just because I can. So Google Maps, here we are. So then we can literally go search, and then that's where we're going in Glasgow, this car park. And you can even see here, it's going to say, oh, we're going to arrive with less than 3%. So click that. Obviously it looks like we're going to have to charge. And there you go, let's put it in. So it's got us charging, surprisingly, at a Tesla Supercharger, open to all. So that just shows you can still have the same charging experience even in a non-Tesla. So we're going to follow this route. So we've got 3 hours 14 of driving, and then yeah, up to Bigger's Supercharger, 250 kilowatts. So we're on 100%. Let's get on the road and see what it's like. So we've just joined the M58 towards the M6 now, start of the journey. Only 6 miles in to the Volvo's journey anyway. So the format of the video, so we'll check in every, say, 50 miles or so, and we'll compare the percentage of the battery left in each car, the estimated range and the consumption. And obviously the journeys, even though the actual physical journey is going to be the same, but I can imagine the charging stops is going to be very different, which is what's quite exciting for this video. So we'll talk about each car. So this is the Volvo XC40 Recharge. recently been rebadged as the EX40, just to be in line with Volvo's naming conventions for electric cars. So this is the twin motor variant, so that gives you the bigger battery. So this has got a 82 kilowatt hour gross battery, and obviously two motors, so one in the front, one in the back, and it gives you a performance of 404 horsepower. So it's definitely a speedy SUV. Obviously, yeah, SUV. So unlike my Model 3, you're sat up a bit higher. Of course, it's obviously more of a boxy shaped car. So what's that going to do to the efficiency of this journey compared to obviously the Tesla? Obviously more similar car. Obviously the Model Y was probably a bit more similar to SUV, but again, that is still a lot more kind of streamlined compared to this car. When looking at the interior, obviously this car, very kind of traditional. You've got your screen there with some buttons underneath. You've got an actual digital driver's display here, you know, with your speedo behind the steering wheel, physical buttons all on the steering wheel, indicator stalk, normal interior. As I mentioned before, powered by Google Android for the base system. I've got Apple CarPlay with Waze on because I quite like Waze. Only reason why I don't need it, obviously I've got the normal map system working in the background with Waze on top, because the normal map system should precondition the battery when we approach the charger. That's the plan. But when it comes to a car, it's a standard family SUV. It's comfy. The boot is a decent size. You've even got a front boot, a fruit, which, like I say, is quite rare in electric cars these days. Not all manufacturers actually do that, so it's always good to see. But yeah, it's a comfy car. I quite like the SUV style. You know, you're sitting up on top of the road, quite empowered, as you might say. Big mirrors, all of them, nice view out of the back of the car as well. So, yep, so the journey for today is obviously we're leaving the Liverpool area on the M58, then it's literally as simple as up the M6 and then to the M74 to Glasgow, and then back again to reach the just over 400 mile mark in both of these electric cars, just to see, do you need a Tesla still? Have they still got the competitive edge over non-Tesla EVs, or are other EVs catching up on worth of technology, charging speed, access to obviously the charging network, and then also price? What's the price difference? And I know, like I said, these cars are both quite different. One's an SUV, one's a saloon car. Obviously the Tesla's going to be more efficient, but is it going to be cheaper just because of the efficiency, or is it going to be cheaper because it's got that Tesla Supercharger network behind it? So we'll see. So like I said, we'll come back every 50 odd miles or so for an update of each car. But first, before we get to our 50 mile stage, let's have a look at what it's like in the Tesla about now. So in the Tesla, we've just set off, we've just hit the M58. We've currently only done about 5 miles, so not much obviously report. Obviously we'll come back with every 50 miles, just like the Volvo. So a bit about this car. So as you know, this is my Tesla Model 3, long range all-wheel drive. So just like the Volvo, it's got obviously two motors, one at the front, one at the back for 4-wheel drive. It's got around about 460 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. It's got a 79 kilowatt hour gross battery, 75 kilowatts usable, and a claimed range of 430 odd miles with the default wheels, or 390 with the bigger wheels. Obviously this car was saying it was going to do around about 341, which is EPA, so that's what the Americans use. And of course all the efficiency readouts are watt hours per mile in the Tesla, which I'll convert to miles per kilowatt hour, so you can compare the two. Not that we are comparing the two, obviously they're two very different cars at the end of the day, and it's two very different days. Today's a little bit more cloudy, a bit wetter on the ground, so it's probably not going to be as efficient as this car could be. But it's saying we can make it all the way to Glasgow with still 22% left compared to the Volvo, which later on in the journey I believe it was going to do around about 5% non-stop. So both of these cars could get there non-stop. which is kind of crazy to see what electric cars are becoming and what they'll be like in the future. So with that said, I'm going to now get sunk into this journey, and I'll be back for the reports at 50 miles in. I'll see you then. So in the Volvo, we're just coming up now to the 50th mile review, as we'll call it. A bit early, because already seems that the road demons are working against me. So it looks like the M6 is closed between two junctions. I think it's 34 and 35. We're just passing Lancaster now to the left of the vehicle, so not too bad. So we'll give 50 mile review from now. So we've got 82% left in the battery. It's giving us a range of around about 220 miles with 130 to go to the charging. So we'll see how that estimate changes as the route progresses. Obviously it gets a bit more hilly and stuff like that. But of course, it looks like we're going to have to now leave the motorway now just for a section between two junctions. Don't know why it's closed. It's not really said. So we'll find out now. Consumption has been, so the Volvo works in kilowatt hours per 100 miles, and obviously the Tesla is in watt hours per mile. So I mean, you can convert them, but I will have them miles per kilowatt on the screen because that seems to be what most people are used to. So in the Volvo, they go 50 miles past, so you get consumption of 34.3 kilowatt hours per 100 miles, and the miles per kilowatt is on the screen. So not being too bad, it's been pretty comfy. It's, yeah, been kind of standard journey. Again, nice to be in the SUV style of car. Weather's holding up quite nicely. It's currently 17 degrees. And people are braking suddenly because they're not really paying attention. Obviously it all merges together now because, yeah, everyone's leaving the motorway. So we'll just sit here and then, yeah, follow the route. So it's the 2nd of December as well, so the new 75 plate cars are out. So my 25 plate is now old. Well, around about nearly 6 months old now. Already seen a few. So, you know, 2 days in, there's already 75 plate cars out and about, which is kind of cool to see. So yeah, the Volvo is good so far. It's comfy, it's nice. Nothing to really complain. It's so far been a standard journey, no different than a petrol car, obviously, because I've not had to put any more fuel in or anything like that. Hopefully on the Tesla journey, this section might be open, but it might not. Again, no indication of why it's closed, construction works or what have you. So like I said, it's now going to be a slow journey through the town here, as you can see on the map, before joining at the next junction. So yeah, so that's where we are with the Volvo at 50 miles. What about the Tesla? What are we up to in the Tesla? And now back into the Tesla. We've also just passed 50 miles now. So how are we doing? So we have used to around 83% of the battery, with a claimed range left of 282 miles, with a consumption of 256.5 watt hours per mile, with the kilowatt hours on the screen now. As you can see, not the best weather. We're just next to Lancaster at the moment on the M6. We're due to arrive at Glasgow with 25% now, so it has increased a little bit, even with the weather. So I'd be amazed what it would be if it was a nice clear day, but sadly I can't control the weather. So I've been driving for 51 minutes, and the good news is, unlike the Volvo's trip, the M6 isn't closed today, so we're not going to have a Waze special. It was this junction we had to come off at, junction 34. So no Waze special in the Tesla today. We're just going to be able to go straight on. And I get that, you know, obviously that means the Volvo's going to do slightly more miles. I get that, but not by much. And again, there's not much I can do about that. So it's all been smooth sailing here. Another, again, lovely, comfortable car to sit in. Again, the car's doing most of the work for me, either on full autopilot or just traffic aware cruise control. But speakers are good, listen to my music. It's comfy, it's quiet inside as well. It is, like I said, just a shame about the weather, really. So let's plough on forwards, and I'll be back with the next update in another 50 miles back in the Volvo. So a quick update from the Volvo. This is what happens when the M6 is closed and Waze takes you through the Waze special, as you'd call it. You end up going down some narrow country paths in the middle of nowhere. Scenery's beautiful though, like it's absolutely beautiful. But I would rather be blasting up the M6 at this point, to be honest, but not much I can do really. So it's probably going to be like this, I think, for a bit. So I can imagine it's going to be like this with the Tesla as well. So, oh well, we're through that narrow bit at least, because that was a struggle really. You know, when the sign's saying no long vehicles, i.e. no trucks, you know it's not going to be good. It's going to be quite narrow. Oh, and there's one of the BAF 500e. You don't see them actually that much. I think one of the first cars to really try and imitate an engine properly with its sounds, and obviously now things like the Ioniq 5N, 6N obviously do the same, kind of imitate a petrol car. Don't know why. It's not my favourite thing. I don't get it personally. I don't think it's cool. I think it's just a bit weird, because you can't. And I thought the whole idea of electric cars are they're silent and not making noise, less noise pollution, as well as actual kind of emission pollution. But each to their own. I guess some people obviously can't get away from that kind of vroom noise, can they? Pops and bangs and all that. So yeah, we're only 6 miles since I spoke to you from the Volvo. So yeah, it's still slow through here. Hopefully we'll be joining the M6 shortly. But I guess when you do travel up the motorway network, this is what you miss. You miss the scenery. You've got obviously fields everywhere. You've got sheep over there, cows over there. So you miss a lot of the UK, just blasting up at 70 up the motorway. But I mean, it's quicker and probably a lot easier, and safer. But yeah, it's not too bad. So yeah, that was just a quick update where we are with the Volvo. Hopefully next time I talk to you, we'll be back on the motorway at our 100-mile milestone. So I'll speak to you when that happens. So sadly, we're still on the Waze Express, as you can see, middle of nowhere, single track. We're about to merge onto another B road here, but there's queues all the way down there and all the way down. So it's clearly still going to take quite a while to get through. I mean, this is issue. I mean, it's closing all 3 lanes of a major motorway, the major link between England and Scotland, obviously just north of Lancaster. It's terrible. Like, I don't think you can really do a full lane like this. It needs to be really at least down to 1 lane, or you need to be doing it at night time, because you've got trucks. You had narrow lanes like this, but trucks are trying to get past the other way. It's absolute chaos. And I've only done 59 miles, so it's only been 9 miles since the review, since we got off at the junction. It was closed, and it's probably been about half an hour of driving, really. So it's gonna take us, 2 hours now to do 120 miles before our first stop, which is just crazy, considering it's just meant to be a end-to-end motorway journey, 70 all the way. But this is as far as possible from a motorway at the end of the day, a single country lane track. Yeah, it's just queuing the whole way. But I'm in a comfy car, lovely electric car, no engine wearing away, not wasting electricity or petrol, you know, like you would in a petrol car. I'm not wasting any fuel while I'm just kind of sat here. Just now reached 100 miles on the journey, so a nice status update. So we've currently, so done 100 miles now. We've got 56% left in the battery, which is giving us a range of around 140 miles. So yeah, in the Volvo, it's not direct mileage, it'll just kind of give you the nearest 10 miles. So yeah, about 140 miles done. Consumption is 33.1 kilowatt hours per 100 miles. Again, kilowatt hours, miles per kilowatt hours will be on the screen now. You can see, yep, we're about 18 minutes away from Carlisle, so approaching the Scottish border. Our charging stop is 79 miles away, again at the Abington Supercharger, so about an hour and 13 to get there. But again, other than the joke that was around Lancaster, Carnforth area, the rest of the journey's been okay. Obviously back on the motorway, it's been pretty decent. But yeah, we're just currently in a temporary speed restriction zone now, which we're about to end now. So then we can now get back up to 70. And as you can see, the acceleration in the Volvo, very, very brisk again, being the dual motor model. So yeah, the twin motor, you can feel that 404 horsepower working away. Do you need this model? Not really, no. But it's a good to have, fun to have. Yeah. Of course it is. Of course it is. So we've currently been driving for just under 2.5 hours now. Average speed of 43 miles per hour. Obviously slowed down due to, again, that annoying shutdown of the M6 around Lancaster. But we're still on the move. Like I said, about an hour to go till the charging stop, due to arrive there with 19%, which is pretty decent, to be fair. But this is the furthest north I've driven myself in the UK. Obviously you've got now M6 Scotland, because we're approaching the Scottish border. So let's have a look. How is my Tesla Model 3 doing at around 100 miles onto this journey? Back in the Tesla. So we've just also passed 100 miles on this journey. So we're just now north of Penrith, so on the M6 of course. So we've got 66% left in the battery, giving us a range of 226 miles. We're due to arrive now with 28%, 112 miles to go now to the Tesla Centre in Glasgow. Consumption dropped a little bit, 248.1 watt hours per mile. Obviously, the weather is still not great. It's been absolutely chucking it down today, so the consumption is higher than usual. But obviously in a petrol car or a diesel car or a hybrid, any other car, your consumption would be higher because the car's having to work harder. There's less grip on the road, so the tyres spin a bit more, obviously wasting that energy, so you're using accelerator a little bit more. Obviously the resistance from the rain, it's like a wall that the car's kind of fighting through, so the aerodynamics isn't as good. So expect that in any car. So, you know, there's no kind of, oh, you got to drive an electric car in the rain because you only get so and so miles. It's not the case. You get less miles in any car, not just electric cars. We've got a normal load. I don't know what it is, like a big tank or something there. Yeah, big tank or silo or something. Crazy what you see on the M6. So yeah, the journey so far on the Tesla has been obviously a lot easier than the Volvo. Obviously didn't have that diversion, so it's not been as bad. Other than the weather's been a bit miserable, but it's fine. Just been chilling with autopilot on. Obviously both the systems are on, so the lane keeping is on, as you can see with the blue lines, and the traffic aware cruise control is also on. One thing I found out, if the visibility gets so bad, it will basically force the autopilot system to slow down. So that's quite scary. Like, you get a message, but the car just starts braking out of nowhere. So it's just like, okay. not the greatest. And then also that, obviously, disconnecting the lane keeping assist, the auto steer, every time you put the indicator on to change lanes. If you don't want it to do that, then you've got to spend £3,400 on autopilot, enhanced autopilot, and then it will do the auto lane changing for you, which is a bit crazy, really. I think to keep up with the other car makers, really, enhanced autopilot needs to be the standard, and then full self-driving FSD supervised when it comes out needs to then be obviously the add-on upgrade, obviously hopefully with a subscription, because it's hard to dump £6,800 on full self-driving when it's fully out, like how it is in America. It might have more value then, but I think you'd need to have your car for like 7 odd years or something for it to make sense, and actually buying it outright rather than using the subscription model. But we'll see, hopefully not long now until we see that in the UK. The other thing is the auto wipers are being annoying. I don't really, I've had to have them in manual mode for most of it because it just wouldn't clear the rain, or then it went too fast. It's the only, the major thing I really don't like about Teslas are the wiper system, using the cameras rather than just a dedicated sensor. And I get it, but everyone else does it and it works. Why fix something that ain't broke? I don't know. Oh well, so that's 100 miles done. We've got basically halfway now. We've got, yeah, 108 miles now to go. 28% in the Tesla to Glasgow. Obviously looking like we don't need to stop. Obviously if I need a comfort break I will stop, but will I charge or not? I don't know. It depends, because then you're between that kind of, why not, if there's a Tesla charger there, why not just stick a couple of miles in, because then you'll have to charge less on the way back. But obviously it just depends. It depends how you feel. Some people obviously just say no, only charging the car says you need to charge, and some people go charge when you can, so whenever you stopped, whack some miles in it. So I've not decided yet if that's what I'm going to do, but we will see. So I'll join you back for the 150 mile update over in the Volvo. So we are now 150 miles into the journey. We're just north of Lockerbie in Scotland. We made it to Scotland. So we're on the A74M now, heading all the way up now to Glasgow. So, statistic wise, so battery percentage, we're on 34%, giving us an indicated range of 80 miles now. We've done a consumption of 33.7 kilowatt hours per 100 miles, and we've now got 27 miles to go to the service station, where we're now due to arrive with 20%. As you can see the sign there, we're going to Abington, so not the services, it's the next services after that. So we've been driving now for 3 hours and 8 minutes non-stop, all the way from Liverpool up here. So you can see I'm gonna also need to stop soon for toilet breaks and yeah, some food, etc. So again, perfect timing. The car needs a little charge and I need a little charge. So again, I'm not stopping here because the car needs to stop. I'm also stopping because yeah, I need to stop. The journey so far, again, not been bad. Weather's holding up, 18 degrees up here in the true north of the UK. Volvo again, been nice and comfortable. I've got their kind of autopilot system on at the moment. So it's got obviously adaptive traffic aware cruise control, and it's also got auto steer as well. And this system is as good, if not better, than the Tesla system. Especially when you're in stop-start traffic, it's nice and progressive when it's pulling, you know, slowing down and speeding up, unlike the Tesla, which seems to want to put its foot down every single time. And then the auto steer, it does a good job of keeping you in the lane. There's a little bit of movement, unlike the Tesla, so I can move it a little bit across the lane and keep it. But where the holding points for the steering wheel, where it needs you to obviously make sure your hands are on the wheel, are very awkward to find, so you'll find it does bing at you quite a lot as you're trying to squeeze the wheel to find out where the sensors are. But other than that, it's been comfortable again, easy drive, you know, not messing around with gears and clutches and stuff, so it is pretty simple, to be fair. So yeah, like I said, about 20 odd miles now to the services, where I will join you back in the Volvo. But for now, let's see how the Tesla's doing at the 150 mile goalposts. Let's have a look. So the update from the Tesla, 150 miles done. We've got 50% of the battery, 170 miles left. Consumption is 247 watt hours per mile. And with that, we are going to pull off here at the services just for a comfort break. And in Andale Water Services, cool. Not been here before, so it's good to have a look. So yeah, that's 150 miles done, 62 remaining. We're going to arrive with 26%, but I just need a break again. I need to stop, the car doesn't. The car has still got plenty. You can still do another 170 miles if need be. But not me. And I know I spoke about the whole idea of, you know, why I'm stopped here, shall I charge or not? I believe if you really like, you know, 50%, I don't think it's really worth it. Obviously the speed's going to be slower anyway, and I don't need it really. And then it just depends on what chargers are here. If they're expensive, chargers, then why use them and not go, you know, a bit further and use the cheaper chargers? And from the look of things, it does seem we have a grid serve here, high and medium power grid serve. So I can see them just down there, but again, I don't need them. They look quite busy actually. I just need the toilet. And there's, oh, hello. Wow. Well, it's wet, isn't it? Yeah, there's the grid serves right there. But like I said, I don't need them. So we're back on the move again. There's the grid serve chargers. So yeah, there's 6 of the high-powered, about 350 kilowatts, and then there's 1 of the medium power, the old 50 kilowatt units here. So just went to the toilet, grabbed a bite to eat, and yeah, so now we're ready to get back on the way again. We've now got still 63 miles to go, 28% with arrival energy in the Tesla. So let's get back on the road. So quick update from the Volvo, and this is the issue I find. So obviously it's your own navigation system, Google. Obviously it knows what car it is, and it's obviously tried to navigate itself. Obviously it's put the charge stop in at Abington, but from what I know and have heard, that charger is Tesla only, so I can't actually charge there, and there's no other charge points there at that services. So if I didn't know that, then we'd be in a bit of a pickle. So what I'm gonna have to do now, because I know of it, is we're going to carry on and we're going to go to Larkhill, because that is a publicly owned, like publicly operated supercharger. That's the next public charging station that we can use on this journey. Again, bit annoying to be fair. Why the car has tried to navigate itself to a charger it can't use, I don't know. Again, this is the issue with EVs. you know, I could pull on there and plug in, blah blah, and it'll be, oh yeah, it's not working. Which, yeah, a bit annoying. But since I do need a little stop, toilet stop, I'm probably going to stop at the services anyway. Up in the services, not to charge the car, just to go to the toilet, stretch my legs, etc. So I've removed that charging stop from the map, and it says we would arrive all the way into Glasgow with 5% battery, which is fine. You might have, you know, slow charging there, or the public charging station in the city centre. So you've got options. This car can make it all the way with 5%. Would you get a bit of range anxiety with that? Possibly. Possibly you would. Obviously, if you're staying for a bit longer and you're parking your car because you're staying like a hotel that hasn't got charging, you might want to stop on the way anyway. So again, it's completely down to the person if you want to stop to have a break, and there's charges at the service station anyway that you can use. Obviously, that's what's important. Or you just want to go all the way through. It's entirely up to you. But obviously, the whole situation here at taking me to a Tesla charger that I can't actually use is a bit crazy, really. I mean, I get it. Is it a mapping system that just has them all on? So then it will just think, oh, electric car, boom, navigate it in. But maybe the Google system really shouldn't have chargers listed on it that can't be used by other EVs, because at the end of the day, it's hard, because Tesla obviously also use the Google system. So how you do this? How do you basically tell the system, I can't use this charger? Which I guess is the issue with Tesla locking down the network and not having them open to all for everybody. But it's obviously still a good benefit for a Tesla driver like myself, yay, but not today in this car. So it can add a little bit of confusion. So we're just arriving at the services here, obviously where I was meant to stop to charge originally, but we're just going to use this as a quick charge. Although there are Apple Green electric chargers here. There are Apple Green electric chargers. What we'll actually do is we'll use, if they're open, because again, when I quickly had a look, it didn't say anything about the Apple Green chargers. But if they are there, then we will use those chargers and charge here. But there's loads of signs for them, so we'll have a look. Are they working? Obviously Tesla's over there, what I'm used to. We've got grid serve as well, but they do look to be in use, as in working. So what we'll do is we'll use these chargers, shall we? 175 kilowatts. Lovely. There you go. I like it when a plan comes together. So that's us here. Let's go and plug in and get charging. Go. Let's tap the card. Anything? Sounds good. Payment accepted. And just like that, we should be charging. Starting session. Let's have a look what the car says. So it's initialising the charging session. Let's have a look. Hopefully it will. And yeah, I can see the machine started. And it's going to start ramping up. Let's have a look. What are we going to get to? Obviously this car can charge, I think it's around 200 kilowatts. So we'll see if we can get anywhere near that, shall we? So we're still just charging here at the Abington services at the Apple Green electric chargers here. So we've got 8 of them, all at 175 kilowatts. all have got CCS and CHAdeMO, just like that. Over in the far corner, GridServe standard, they're older 50 kilowatt units, medium power ones, which someone is actually using, be here for a longer time. It's kind of worth using. And all the way at the back there, we've got Tesla only Superchargers, where we've got, if I can count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there, and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, about 16 I think. Chargers, a mixture of the older V2 and the V3 units at the back over there. So not a bad place to stop and charge really. Obviously it's going to be a lot more expensive than the Tesla chargers, as you can see. We're at 73%, 63 kilowatts charging now, being plugged in for 23 minutes. We're basically nearly ready to go. So yeah, as you can see, bit of drama at trying to find a charger here. Obviously it was navigating me to the Tesla ones, which are Tesla only. Obviously it's a welcome break, so they have to be Tesla only because Apple Green Electric, no one would use them because they're more expensive. But that just shows, pull into services anywhere and you'll probably find chargers like I did here. I had a look, I couldn't see it on my Zap map either, but they're here and they're here to use. So yeah, we're at 73%, so 74 now actually, which is 75. Look at that, it's just bouncing up. So we basically can disconnect and get on our way now. Like I said, I'll have all the costings at the end of the video, see how much each of them obviously cost, how many stops we had to do, etc. So let's get on the road now, back on the way to Glasgow. Not far to go now. So we're just past the 200 mile mark now on our 400 mile journey to Glasgow and back to Liverpool. So obviously we had that charge here in the Volvo. So we're now at 72% with 170 miles left in the battery. Average consumption of 33.7 kilowatt hours per 100 miles. So we've got 15 miles now to go down to Glasgow. So not far at all. And again, it's been a decent journey. The total journey time so far has been, let's have a little look, has been 4 hours and 8 minutes. Average speed 51 miles per hour. Again, this journey, we've been taking it, we've not been hypermiling, we've not been, driving not ultra efficient, we've just been driving as you would, doing 70 on the motorway and the speed limit everywhere else. So it's a true representative of what it's like just to drive an EV long distance. Like I said, this car could have done the whole journey in one go, but arriving into Glasgow with 5%, not the best thing. I mean, you can do it, there's nothing stopping you, but for me, I would rather get there having reserve in case of an emergency or anything like that, or you just want to get up and go, so you're staying over, you just want to get up and go, you don't want to have to plug the car in straight away. Yeah, you can have a look around Glasgow. There's probably tons of charging options, city centre wise and on the outskirts as well. So it's just down to personal preference, but for me, I was having to stop anyway because I wanted some food and I wanted the toilet. So you may as well charge there and then, because why not? Again, I needed to stop really before the car needed to stop. The car could have carried on. We still had, 20 odd percent in the battery and about 80 odd miles. And there's another services that you could charge at. So again, services alone, plenty. And then in the cities, of course, as well, there's plenty of availability. So that's what the Volvo has been like so far. How about the Tesla? How is the Tesla doing on this journey? So we're coming up on 200 miles in the Tesla. Let's have a look how we're doing. So we've got 31% left in the battery, giving us a claim range of 107 miles. With 15 miles to go until our destination. We're due to arrive there with 27% now. Pretty decent. Consumption, so we've got 251.4 watt hours per mile on the total journey. Again, weather's been absolutely terrible again. Approaching here near Liverpool in Scotland, so we're just south of Glasgow now, nearly there, not far to go. So just to compare the two kind of like driving kind of height standards for these cars. So obviously Volvo is an SUV, you sit higher up, whereas this is more of a saloon car, so you're sitting more down in the road. And I mean, it's weird because I like both of them. Sometimes I do quite like the raised driving position, yeah, sitting above a lot of the cars. But then remember, I like this because you feel a bit lower down, more sporty, more connected to the road. It's quite nice, to be fair. But if I was gonna, it's hard. I think every car these days are turning into SUVs, so it's nice to not have an SUV. Just have more of a traditional car. Again, I don't need the space. I don't need a big family SUV for just driving me from point A to point B. So that's all I do. I just drive from point A to point B, and it's usually just me. I mean, I do have more than one people in the car. There's more enough space. You know, you can fit a family in here if need be. I've had friends and family in here, and no one's really complained about space. So it's actually not too bad. So yeah, so we're just on the M74 now, before we go on to the M73, and then the M8, I believe, to the Tesla service centre. So next time I see you, we'll be at the Tesla service centre down in Glasgow. So guys, we've arrived now at Glasgow, and where are we? We're at the Tesla Centre, of course, in Glasgow. There's an array of Teslas here. Not only is it obviously an area for test drives, but it's also a delivery centre. So people getting their new cars come here to collect their brand new Tesla Model 3 or Model Y. So I'm going to have a little look around here. If you want to see that video, it'll be posted soon, as we just have a little geek out at this service centre. There's a lot to see here. So in the Volvo, so in total we've done 216.4 miles here. We're on 65% with a range of 150 miles. Obviously, we'll definitely need to charge on the way back because it's obviously another 215 odd miles to go. So with one stop charging, it's not too bad. Again, prices and stuff will be at the end of the video to compare what the Tesla Model 3 has done compared to this Volvo XC40. So yeah, I'm just going to have a little look around, and then before we know it, we'll be back on the road. But before that, let's see how the Tesla did on this video. So we've arrived in the Tesla at the Glasgow Service Centre as well. So we've arrived with 27%, as it said. So that was 215 miles with an average consumption of 247.9 watt hours per mile. So we both made them. So obviously it'll be time to head back and obviously cover the full 400 miles. So what will be exciting to see is where do we need to stop with the Tesla. Of course, there are Tesla Superchargers here, which are open for all, so I could have used it on the Volvo as well. But for fair play, I'm just going to put the route back down to Liverpool and see where it says to stop. So here on the Tesla screen, let's simply see where it says we need to stop. So once again, we'll go to the Old Meadow services. There we go. And we'll calculate the route. So it's actually saying to charge here and then go to Todd Hill and then we'll arrive back. But what we'll do is make sure to set the arrival energy to 20%, same as the Volvo, and let's see if that changes anything. So that's straight, okay. So if you press continue trip, it really does want you to stop here rather than anywhere else. So that's still 2 charging stops for the Tesla. So because obviously I think it's kind of not getting confused, but obviously it's saying that I'm basically at a supercharger anyway, you may as well use this one. So just to keep it more fair, we're going to remove the charging stops from here. And then what we'll do is we can then go to charging here, and then you can manually add them in. So we could stop here. We could stop here at Lockall if we wanted to. Or we could stop obviously at Abingdon like we did in the Volvo on the way. And the good thing is you can see the price. So here it's 40p per kilowatt hour, and here it's 37. So I think what we'll do is we'll add Lockall as a charging stop, like so. And there you go. So that will be us ready to get on the way. So here in the Volvo, so we'll put in the destination near me. So we'll do Old Meadow services in Liverpool. Let's have a look. So charging needed. So it recommends charging at the Superchargers in Carlisle. So what's important there first is to check, can we actually use these ones in Carlisle? So I think if I tap, let's have a look. So what's it say? Because obviously there's a few in this area, and it's probably like the, which one is it? It's the, I think it's the, yeah, so it's the Todd Hill services. So yeah, there's grid serve there, and there's open to all superchargers there. And I think, as I mentioned in another video, these ones are strange because obviously you've got both of them open to all Tesla and also grid serve. But because of that, grid serve have had to reduce the price down to 49p a kilowatt hour. So obviously they're trying to match Tesla on that price. Whereas the funny thing is, if you are obviously a Tesla driver or a membership of the supercharging network, it's still cheaper obviously to use the actual normal kind of, it's better to use the superchargers there. But if you're not, I do believe, as I quickly check, is 69p, because we're in peak time, per kilowatt hour. So if I use the superchargers like this is going to tell me, it's going to cost me 69p. But if I use grid serve there at the moment, so we'll check grid serve. Again, this is all just on my phone. So I'm going to use that map here. As I said, it should be 49p. So again, you'd think Tesla cheaper, but it's not. It's not actually going to be cheaper. We're better to use the grid serve chargers, which is what we'll do. So we'll head down to Todd Hill. It's going to say we're going to arrive there with 24%, and then obviously back with 12% if we have a 20-minute charge there. So we're going to start that journey as simple as that. Get the navigation on. So there we go. We've got 91 miles to do until Todd Hill. So let's get on the way back down to Liverpool. Well, back in the Tesla, we're approaching our first charging stop at Lockall Supercharger. So we've done 234 miles. We've got 17% left in the battery, so that's another 60 miles. The battery has been preconditioning, and that's a great thing about Teslas. So the consumption on this trip from the service centre to here is a rapid, amazing 345 watt hours per mile, which is quite high. So yeah, so it's going to be a faster charging stop because it's preconditioned, hopefully. But obviously that uses energy in the battery. So it's kind of, you know, the what's better, you know, faster charging or more efficient. It's yeah, it's a big mixture really to find. The other thing I really do love about the Superchargers and how Tesla use it is I can see there's 15 available, so I know that there's going to be availability when I'm there, compared to obviously the Volvo where you didn't know at all, you went in blind. But this, I know exactly how many there are, even know what speed they're going to be, etc. I think this one is at a hotel actually as well, so that'll be interesting to see. But like I say, I do like to see new sites as much as I can. So we'll pull in here. A very nice hotel actually, very nice. So there we go, let's pull in, follow the nav. Watch out for the van on the wrong side of the road, as per usual, and there they are. There are these Tesla V4 units right in front. So we'll go and find a quiet one. We've got a Nissan Ariya in one of them. So here we are. We'll pull into 4A. It's quite a nice site here, to be fair. So we've got 16 Superchargers here. So let's get plugged in and see how long we're going to be here for. Right, let's have a look how easy it is to plug a Supercharger into a Tesla. Walk to the unit. There we go. You grab the handle. Hopefully you can press the button. Some of these buttons are terrible though. No, so that's not going to work, so you just have to tap on the port and plug it in. Just like that. Wait for the light to go green. It's flashing blue and green, there we go. So now we can go into the car and have a look at the speed. And there we go. It's ramping up there nicely. 214 kilowatts, obviously max speed is 250, so that's pretty good. And obviously down here you can then see the stop you're at, the price, how much it's costing you, and obviously there's idle fees as well. So you can see, so 25 minutes to continue the trip all the way to my destination. So what we'll do, obviously, like I said, we'll set the arrival energy though at that I want. So what it's now going to do is, to get there quicker, it's going to suggest another stop in T-Bay services to still arrive back with 20%. So that looks like we've got 8 minutes then to continue the trip to get to T-Bay, because as you see at the moment, it's at it'll get there at -14. So 8 minutes sat here before we get on the way, which is not too bad at all. So I will see you when we're ready to continue out here at Loughall. And just like that, a few moments later, after I went to the toilet and came back, we now have enough energy to continue the trip to T-Bay, which will arrive with 13%. So let's unplug and get on the way. And that's as simple. Let's get out the car in this lovely weather. Because the button's a bit faulty here, I can imagine usually you hold the button, but because it's not going to work, there's another way you can do it. You can hold the back handle of the door and that will unlock the charger, which I can unplug there and put back. Charger flaps closed, don't forget to close the door. Right, let's get on our way. So in the Volvo, 250 miles done of this journey now. So we're heading now south, still on the M74. So looking at the numbers, so we've got a 48% of the battery left, 110 miles estimated for that. Consumption 34.2 kilowatt hours per 100 miles, again miles per kilowatt hour on the screen. I'm just at the moment just enjoying the scenery here, like it's just lovely. It's rolling hills, no trees, it's like completely bare. It's crazy. It's crazy. You don't really see this down in my area, but there's like valleys of hills over there, and the motorway is just swinging in between them. It's a beautiful section of the motorway system, I must say. So our first stop on the way back, so our second stop, as I said, Todd Hill, and that's at about 55 miles. We're due to arrive with 25% of the battery. So again, plenty of backup just in case, and no range anxiety, no nothing. It's easy. I'm just driving and stopping where I need. Again, I get it. Right, well, but my idea is like, I would do this non-stop and this and that and that. And so I get that. I get it, will do. But you would probably stop anyway. Let's be honest, you'd probably stop for a bit to toilet or for a bite to eat or whatever. Of course you're still going to stop. So why not, when you're stopped, then put in the fuel? Because then you still go, oh yeah, it takes me a couple of minutes. Well, technically it takes you 30 seconds. You plug it in, you unplug it, and the time it's actually charging, you're not there, stood there holding the cable. You're eating, you've gone to the toilet. So it'll be interesting to see how much time wasted this journey's taken charging, of course on both of the cars as well. It'll be interesting to see. And here's Aberdeen Services. This is where we stopped on the outbound journey, so we're just passing that now. That's where we charged before, and we're now, so in the time we charged there, we've gone to Glasgow and now back and passed it, and we've still got 47%. Not bad. So yeah, that's 250 miles in. So how is the Tesla doing? Let's just see how the Tesla is doing on this journey. So 250 miles in the Tesla. Where are we up to? So obviously we just had our charging stop at Liverpool. That was only about 15 minutes ago. So let's have a look at the details. So 44% in the battery, 151 miles to go. Second charge stop is at T-Base Services in 96 miles. We're due to arrive there with 13%. So yeah, 261.3 watt hours per mile is the consumption total for this trip. Again, due to this horrendous weather that we're seeing across the UK today, it's really not good at all. So obviously we've charged once now in the Volvo and once in the Tesla, and obviously we're due to charge again in the Tesla, so it is going to have 2 charging stops. I mentioned more about this at the end, but at the end of the day, it's completely down to you. So as you can see, the car could do the whole journey for a long charge stop there at Liverpool. About half an hour, we could get charge stop there, we could get all the way back without stopping, which is fine. But Tesla do give you options. You can have fewer stops like that, or you can have the fastest way. Because obviously the fastest way is to charge, because obviously speed goes down, the higher percentage your battery is, the slower it was going to charge. So the idea is you have more but faster charging stops. So you go from 10 to 40, 50%, then back down again to 10% and back up again, because you're getting that peak charging rate for longer. That's the idea behind it, and we'll see it at the end. We'll see how long did it charge this car compared to the Volvo. Both obviously have around about the same charging speeds as well, so that'll be interesting to see. Obviously I've gone down the route of 2 charging stops as well. No chance to stretch your legs, but you do have the option. With the Tesla system, you can completely remove stops, add stops, wherever you want. Obviously you can trust the system, it says completely, and go for what it suggests, or you can choose whatever ones you want as well. Once again in the beautiful sceneries of southern Scotland on the M74. Sadly, obviously not the weather for it today, but I think with the Volvo journey, a lot nicer than it is today in the Tesla. All doom and gloom in Tesla, clearly. So that is 250 miles so far in both cars. Obviously the next stop will be at the 300 mile mark in the Volvo. So let's get some driving done and I will see you back again in the Volvo and see where we're up to. In the Volvo, we've just passed 300 miles on this journey. Let's wait for that. So yeah, we've gone 300 miles now. So check in, 25% battery with a range of 55 miles. Charge stop is in 7 minutes, in about just under 6 miles time. Due to arrive with 23%. So we're just near Gretna now, so we're near the border now with England once again, where the A74M becomes then the M6, and that will take us all the way back down to Liverpool. So again, journey fine. We've done 300 miles, comfortable. I think ready for a little leg stretch now. So again, the car could probably go to the next services, but it's obviously planned to stop here. And obviously I could have stopped earlier and charged at a service station, but obviously you want to arrive with the lowest percent charge possible for the fastest charging, otherwise the dwell times are just a bit longer. So it's kind of perfect, this charge stop, to be fair. And it'll be another one to tick off my list and see what grid serve is also like. So that's it. So that's the big welcome to Scotland sign over there, I'm pretty sure. It might not be. One of the big signs there are obviously welcome to Scotland. And here is welcome to England. So we're in Cumbria, there we go. We have now made it back into England, and now the start of the M6. Perfect. So yeah, about 4 miles now to go until our stop. So yeah, let's find out how the Tesla is doing at 300 miles. So 300 miles in the Tesla Model 3. So same poor weather, which is having knock-on effects for efficiency, etc. So where are we up to now? So we're just north of Gretna. And Gretna Green Services is coming up shortly. We've currently got 27% left in the battery. It's been about an hour since we left Loch Hill. Efficiency for the journey, 258.8 watt hours per mile, which is not the greatest really, but look at the weather. Do you blame it? It's not. The weather is absolutely terrible. It's just that constant fine rain that soaks you right through.
Oh, I know, it's that fine rain that soaks you through, that.
So yeah, still due to arrive at T-Bay now. It's 46 miles to go with 8%, so it has started to drop a little bit. Again, just I think it didn't obviously anticipate the weather being as poor as it is. 2 chargers available at the moment. It's quite a busy site at T-Bay, so keeping an eye on that. We might actually have to queue for a charger for the first time. There are non-Tesla chargers there because this is a Tesla only site, but they're 69p a kilowatt. But the thing is with this one, because it's peak time, it's 50p a kilowatt, so not the cheapest Tesla charger. If you really want to keep this really cheap, then we probably want to try and stay out of peak times or try and find a different charger that's a little bit cheaper. But we're just going to go on for what Tesla says, what's the system saying, that's what we're going to follow. So yeah, we're about to re-enter England again around about now. So that was Scotland done. Hopefully the weather improves, but I can't see it improving. Again, we can check the weather. So it does, I mean, from the look at it, obviously it's moving along. We might, out of Carlisle, we might get out of the bad weather. It looks a bit clearer over there, to be fair, because it is absolutely terrible. And here it comes again. This is, yeah, not fantastic weather. But this shows you can drive an EV in the rain, of course. You know, it doesn't have to be a bright sunny day. We're showing real world conditions here. This is what it's going to be like. Obviously in the UK, it's not always, it never really is perfect weather, let's be honest. And now you can see at T-Bay, there is a wait now at T-Bay. So again, we'll keep an eye out and see. Or we can have a look here. We could always stop at Todd Hills, which is a penny cheaper rather than T-Bay, if T-Bay is quite busy as it seems. You've got that choice at the end of the day. You have really got that choice of what you want to do. But just like that anyway, we are now back in England on the M6 motorway. So Scotland is done, we're now on the M6. So now I just need to try and think what's best to do. Carry on to T-Bay or stop here at Todd Hills. I think we're going to carry on to T-Bay, is my opinion. Obviously this is now, we've got 40 minutes. I think you click on it, there's a less than 5 minute wait. It's a lot busier than it normally is. That's the thing. That's what's is confusing. It's a lot busier than normal. And there was a bit of phantom braking. Great. See, autopilot system on Teslas, not perfect. You saw a bit of phantom braking in the flesh. And there you go. Blue sky ahead. Perfect. So that's the update in the Tesla at 300 miles. I'll pick this back up when we've got, let's unlock the doors, when we've done 50 miles, but that will be, obviously, we'll have a stop before then. So how is life going in the Volvo? So we are now just approaching Todd Hills rest area in the Volvo for our second charging stop. So this is obviously only accessed on the southbound M6, not on the northbound. So the one thing I kind of miss from the Tesla, which I like, obviously Superchargers, is just knowing how many chargers are available before you even pull up, so you know what to expect. Because after there is a wait or full, I could then, while driving, plan to go to the next one. But I'm coming in kind of blind. Obviously you could have somebody, if you're with somebody next to you, and they could obviously be on Zap Map or Tesla app on the phone, depending on where you're going, to tell you. But here I'm doing it blind. So hopefully there's some chargers available. And from the looks of it, it's dead here, so that's fine. So as you can see in front of us, obviously it's telling us here, I like that, like, you know, welcome to so-and-so. So we're just going to pull up here, and then obviously in front there you've got the Tesla Superchargers again, not a single one being used. There's a GridServe engineer here, so it'll be interesting to see if there's anything going on, or if he's just charging. Cool. So let's go and plug in and see how easy that is. So just charging at the Todd Hill GridServe chargers. Obviously the Tesla Supercharger here as well. So we've got, yeah, 6 GridServe chargers, all rated at 350 kilowatts, the standard GridServe units. And obviously we've also got 12 V4 open to all Superchargers here as well, which go to 250 kilowatts. So we're basically nearly ready to go. We're up to 73%. It's saying we'll get home with 16%. So kind of perfect, to be fair, so we'll be on our way shortly. So, back in the Volvo, we've now done 350 miles on this trip. That's the milepost we're at. So statistics, 55% left in the battery, due to arrive back home with 21%. We've got a range of 120 miles left. Consumption is 34.9 kilowatt hours per 100 miles. So again, not too bad. We're just past T-Bay services on the M6. Final stretch, only got about 74 miles left to go. Obviously there's no more charging left to do, it's just now the final journey home. You know, I started obviously with the cars at about 20%, charged them both up to 100, and then trying to get them back with about 20%, and then any charging from that original 20% to when I get home is what counts in the price of this video. But north of Liverpool, the M6 is stunning. Like, look at the green hills and the trees, how the motorway just swoops in. But south of Liverpool, it's all smart motorway, built up, grey, Birmingham. It's all just, you can see it's kind of like literally north of the junction with 26, I say, is when the M6 starts to become beautiful. Maybe obviously you've got Preston as well, but it's a lovely motorway, and it's been a very easy drive. Like I said, I've got this car in its, you know, auto cruise, autopilot mode. So the car's doing the steering, car's doing the actual driving, keeping it at a safe distance from the cars in front. Not that there's many cars. It's currently 6:45 in the evening, so I've gone through rush hour, but not felt it. It's been quiet the whole journey, so clearly this end of the UK doesn't really suffer from rush hour traffic, it seems. Obviously it's a Tuesday today as well, so clearly it's okay. So other than that, not much to really report in the Volvo. Obviously we had our charging session back at Todd Hills on the grid serve chargers. Yeah, I was there for about 20 odd minutes, which isn't too bad. In total we've been driving for 6.5 hours worth of driving today. Those 2 stops are not much in comparison. But what's important to see is how is the Tesla doing at the moment, I wonder, compared to the Volvo. So we're just pulling into T-Bay services now on the M6 with 7%. So we had a bit in reserve. It says there's 6 available, so looks like we're not going to have to wait. And I'm quite excited because I've not actually been to T-Bay before. So yeah, electric charging this way. There we go. So I think we can just go forwards here. Very nice. It is. It's quite nice and quaint, isn't it? So then to the left down here should be the Tesla chargers. So we're just gonna pull into this one here. So I'll go and plug in and see how long we need here at T-Bay. So just got back from inside, Lovely service. It's probably the best services I've ever seen. You've got obviously like a whole like kind of like dinner system. You get full hot food. There's like their farm shop, cafes and it all. So I just picked up a nice chicken Caesar sandwich and a drink just to have while we wait. Although we've only got about 2-3 minutes left until we can leave, but obviously there's no rush at the moment. So I will be back with you when we leave. So just leaving T-Bay services now, weren't there for long at all, which is not too bad. Didn't even get to finish my sandwich, but we've got enough to get home now, even with 25%, so even a slight overcharge, to be honest. But it's not the end of the world. So we'll leave and get on the way right now. No more charging is needed for any of the two cars now. This is it. It's the final jolt home. You can see it's quite a major truck stop as well here. So yeah, let's get back on to the M6 southbound and back down to Liverpool. You can't beat that acceleration from the car. It is fantastic. Just to get ahead of a truck there. But as we're nearly at our 350 mile kind of milepost now, so we can have a look obviously at what we're at. But obviously we literally have just charged, but that's completely fine. So we've currently got 56%, 193 miles. So, you know, what was that, a couple, you know, not long there, and I could now go, you know, realistically 70 miles now until the next stop. We're going to charge up for longer if I needed to go further, obviously, but like, I'm destined to go home. Consumption to 265.5 watt hours per mile. Kilowatt hours are on the screen now, so we can compare that obviously to what the Volvo's doing, which again we're not 100% comparing because it's a completely different class of car, but it's interesting to see what each car does and whether you actually do need a big boxy SUV. So yeah, we've got 78 miles until we're back in Liverpool. Should arrive back with around 25%. Obviously we'll have one more check-in at 400 miles just to see what both cars are doing. And yeah, so for now I'm going to settle back into the journey and I'll see you at that 400 mile post in the Volvo. So in the Volvo for the final time, we're just about to pass our 400 mile post here. So we've done 400 miles now on this journey. We've got 24 more to go. So last status update before we get back, 33% in the battery, range of 75%. We've got a usage of 34.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is X amount of miles per kilowatt hour. Due to arrive now back with 23%, which is better than obviously the 20% that we left with. We've gained a bit of percentage. 24 minutes to get back. So all in all, a pretty smooth journey in the non-Tesla EV, let's be honest. It's not the nightmare that it could have been. Yeah, we had a little hiccup with the charger it selected, but that was pretty much resolved quite quickly with there being apple green electric chargers right there. And if not, then I had plenty of percent to get to the next station, which is why it's probably quite important to have some planning into it. Know the chargers, know where you're going to stop a little bit. Obviously, most service stations, not all of them, do have chargers now, but I'd just say as a tip, don't arrive on like 2% or something, just in case A, they're not working, or B, it's selected the wrong charger, like it's selected a Tesla only one when you're not in a Tesla. So pretty simple like that. Scenery now, obviously we're now south of Preston, near Leyland now on the journey. Not as beautiful as it was back in the lakes and obviously Scotland area, but as you can tell it's becoming a little bit more industrial now. And here comes the traffic, our first actual like traffic on the way back of congestion. Well, that's what you expect. Obviously it's got a lot busier now. You've got traffic obviously from Lancaster joining, from Blackpool, from Preston, all heading south. You've now got obviously Merseyside starting to join, so it's obviously a lot more busy, but still not terrible. It's 7:25 now in the evening, ready to get back. Obviously Glasgow and back in one day. 400 miles in one day, basically non-stop, is obviously quite extreme, but it can be done. Clearly you don't 100% need a Tesla. It can be done in any EV. Obviously we're going to find out which one did better, which one did cheaper, and which was easier and faster to deal with the charging, of course. But obviously it's not you need to get a Tesla. It's not exactly that. Speaking about the Tesla, let's see how the Tesla has been doing on its 400-mile post. Let's have a look. 100 miles in the Tesla, so we're just around Preston now, just south of Preston on the M6. We've got 39% left in the battery, 133 miles on the range, consumption of 263.9 watt hours per mile, higher than it is usually, but again the weather was appalling up north, slightly better now. So we'll now arrive back with about 29%, so we have gained a few percentage. So we're going to more overcharge than we're probably going to do in the Volvo, because that seems to be a bit more on the correct 20 odd percent to arrive on. So what's the Tesla been like for this whole journey? Quiet, comfortable, relaxing, I'd say. Charging, obviously, which is the biggest focus of this, pretty simple. The Tesla will handle all of it, and if you don't like it, you can change it very easily. I like how you can see how many people are at the chargers and if there's a wait or not, and replan your journey if that's the case. Stuff like that makes EV driving a lot more relaxing and calming, knowing these things before you even get there. You don't want to turn up to a full charger, or even worse, chargers aren't even working. Obviously that's the network side, but it'd be good that the car knows that, so then you can plan somewhere else and not waste too much time. Charge stops have been quite quick as well, and quite easy as well. No mess around with cards, tap in, or electroverse cards or whatever. It's just all controlled by the car if you're using obviously the Tesla Supercharger network, which is fantastic. I really can't complain about the charging of this car. So yeah, we've not got much longer now, so I'll probably see you now back when we arrive back home, and then we can break down everything with the two cars and the journey. So that is it. Both journeys are done. We're back in Liverpool after a lot of driving, let's just say over 800 miles worth of driving. But what's important, let's break down the figures and let's see how long both took to charge in total, and obviously which one was cheaper as well. And to throw into the mix, we'll throw in my old hybrid, my Kia Niro, because that used to do around about 480 miles on one tank, and that used to cost me around about £45-50 to fill up. So are any of these cars cheaper to run than the hybrid? So let's start with the Volvo. So that did 426.5 miles, and it took it 7 hours and 43 minutes to complete the journey. Quite long. Obviously we had that detour around the M6 near Lancaster because of the road closure. The average consumption was 2.89 miles per kilowatt hour, and if you times that by the battery percentage, you will get the real world 100% range of 228 miles. A bit of a shortfall from the actual official range that Volvo give you, but obviously that's WLTP, which is nonsense. Don't listen to that. So we'll compare that to the Tesla. The Tesla did a few more miles. It did 431.4 miles, and that took it 6 hours and 46 minutes. Obviously, we didn't have that detour around Lancaster. The consumption of the car is 3.81 miles per kilowatt hour, so more efficient. Obviously, it's more sleek. It's a more aerodynamic car. Tesla are known for that, so it's going to be obviously a lot more efficient than a big boxy SUV. But we're not worried about that. But it's just cool to see. You can see the figures. Even with the bad weather that we had, it was still quite efficient, more efficient than the Volvo on a decent day. But if it was obviously a nice clear day, I probably would have got closer to 4.5 miles per kilowatt hour that I have been seeing quite a lot. So if you times that by the battery capacity, we'll get a real 100% range on that day of 285 miles, which is like a shortfall of nearly 100 miles than what Tesla claim on their website. And obviously at the start it said about 341, if I remember right. So a shortfall from that as well. But that was on the day with that weather, not too bad. So the charging stops, that's what's quite exciting. So both cars did 2 stops. So we'll start with the Volvo, which we stopped at Abington first, and we used the Apple Green electric chargers. They were costing 79p per kilowatt hour, and we charged for 50 kilowatts, which gave us a total charging price of £39.50. Next, we stopped at Todd Hill, where it was actually only 49p because of grid serve at that site per kilowatt hour, and we charged 44.9 kilowatt hours into the battery, costing about £22, giving us a total price there of £61.50. Moving on to Tesla now. So the Tesla also, like I said, had 2 stops. So the first one at Lark Hill, we had a price of 37p per kilowatt hour, and we charged 27.8, only a small charge there, and that cost us £10.28. Then at the second stop at T-Bay, it was 50p, so a bit more expensive at T-Bay. It was peak time, so this is obviously going to drive the cost up a little bit. So we charged 41.7 kilowatt hours into the battery, costing us £20.85, giving us our rapid charging cost of the Tesla to £31.13. Important to note though, obviously I had to charge both these cars at home overnight up to 100, so they both started off at 20%, so I charged them all the way up to 100, and for the Volvo that cost me £4.40 and the Tesla £4.20 on the low overnight tariff, bringing in the total cost for the Volvo to £65.90 and the Tesla to £35.33. So as you can see, the Tesla is nearly half, about £30 cheaper to do the same journey. And again, that was in worse conditions, not the most efficient. And obviously, I could have picked different chargers and it would have been cheaper. But you can see here why people do get a Tesla, because it's cheap to run. If you look, that beats my hybrid car. That will probably beat petrol cars and diesel cars for price as well. On the other hand, the Volvo is on the other end of the scale, where petrol, diesel and hybrids are cheaper to run than using non-Tesla chargers. And I think that's important to see, that this is why I do say in my charging tour, prices need to come down. Because if it's more expensive to do longer trips, why are people going to switch to electric cars? It doesn't make sense at all. Now, yes, you could be a bit more savvy. You can choose different chargers. Obviously, there's open to all Tesla chargers. But I just wanted to go on a trip, not having to fully plan it out, and just see what it was like in the real world. Obviously, you can use kind of things like a better route planner, and you can plan out to go to cheaper charging stops and bring that price down. But obviously, that's a lot to ask for people who've never done electric cars before. People just want to get in them, drive, and hopefully the car will tell you where to charge, like the Tesla does, and the Volvo did, to be fair. But obviously, that had a little bit from there trying to give me directions to a Tesla only supercharger. So software for other cars does need to, I mean, it's not even just their software, Google Maps and all, they just need to kind of get more organised and map out the chargers better, which ones they can use, which ones they can't. Half that's on Tesla. Maybe they need to open all the Tesla chargers up or not. Let me know what you think about Tesla having Tesla only chargers still at the moment. I know it's not entirely their fault. Welcome Break, for example, don't allow them to open them up because obviously it'll add competition to their Apple Green Electric brand. But what do you think? Obviously, do you think everyone should have access to all chargers? Obviously not just be kind of isolated out. So finally, what's important is how long did we spend charging? Because as people say, oh, I don't want to get an EV because I don't want to have to stop and charge, wasting time, this and that. Which I get. But as I pointed out, the stops anyway, I wanted to stop to get food or get a drink, go to the toilet, have a stretch of my legs. I never stopped because the car was running low. I stopped because I needed to stop and it was the perfect place to charge and put some energy back into the batteries. So, the Volvo first charging stop, 27 minutes. The second stop, 24 minutes, giving us 51 minutes in total stopping time to charge. And when you take that to the fact that I drove for 7 hours and 43 minutes and only stopped really for less than an hour, that's not bad. That's not inconvenient driving, really. And I mean, yes, you'll still get those people, oh, I drive for 800 miles and I don't stop, I wee in a bottle and all that absolute nonsense. People don't. People stop all the time. Motorway service stations, as you see, are busy. People stop. Okay, you might be part of the 0.1% of people who don't stop, but most people do. And when you do, plug your car in, easy. You're not wasting time. That's the thing. It's not wasted time. It's you actually carrying on with your life, doing other things while the car in the background is charging. So enough of the whole look how long it takes to charge. But 51 minutes for the Volvo. Tesla, so the first stop was 11 minutes and the second stop was 18 minutes, giving us a total of 29 minutes actual charging time. And again, when you take into consideration that I spent 6 hours 46 minutes of driving and I only stopped for about 29 minutes charging, which is crazy. Again, no time wasted there. I was, again, having food. I was going for a drink. I was going to the toilet. I wasn't there, stood there, holding the cable, waiting for it to charge like I'm at a petrol pump for 29 minutes. I was doing other things. And like you saw at T-Bay, I couldn't even finish the food that I got because the car was ready to get back here and we're on 29% still. Obviously overcharged more than the Volvo did. So I could have left even sooner than that and had a obviously reduced price to start with and a reduced actual charging time. So again, the Tesla overall on this test has won in both regards. It was the quickest to charge and it was obviously the cheapest. But again, different body types of cars. So we're not really fully comparing the two cars. We're more looking at what is it like to own and drive a Tesla long distance and what's it like to drive a non-Tesla long distance, and is the actual UK network of public rapid chargers up to task at the moment. And I'd say, yes, at the moment it is. There was at no point really that I was worried about charge or range anxiety. T-Bay maybe, because obviously the screen was showing it was quite busy and there was a wait for a bit. But obviously I got there and there was 4 or 5 available anyway. So I think what is stopping people from getting EVs? I'd like to know, if you've not got an EV yet, let me know in the comments for the reason why you're still not happy to get one. And let's see if we can actually answer that. And hopefully this video has answered that long distances are easy in EVs. So guys, that was a long one. If you're still watching, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe and click the bell to get future notified for these videos. We've got a lot coming up. We've got a full review of that Volvo that I drove today. And if you want to do your own trip and you've not bought an electric car, check the description. I've got a Tesla referral code and at the moment it will give you 650 free supercharging miles when you purchase a new Tesla. So for free, you could do this journey yourself and not pay a penny. That beats every petrol and diesel car, doesn't it? So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.